Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Luke and here on this channel we talk about fragrance, perfume, scent, focusing on designer, vintage and affordable fragrances. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. In today's video, I wanted to go through a couple of new fragrances that I've been testing in the last few weeks. This is going to be more of a negative video because most of these were fails, unfortunately. So keep that in mind and click off now if you're someone who gets offended when someone dislikes a fragrance you enjoy. So let's start with 3 Divain dupes. So I got 3 dupes from the Spanish dupe brand called Divain or Divain. And these 3 fragrances are dupes of Midnight Poison, Miss Dior Cherie and Chanel Coromandel. This particular brand was recommended to me by my lovely subscriber Anna from Portugal. Hi Anna, if you're watching. So she really enjoys this house, but she did warn me that their fragrances tend to be a hit or a miss. So you never really know what you get, but fortunately every 100ml bottle comes with a 3ml sample so that you can test the fragrance before committing to a full-size bottle. So let's go through them together. Number 133 is their version of Miss Dior Chérie. The notes listed on the website correspond to the notes of Miss Dior Chérie 2011, which I used up a bottle of. I loved it, and I was really happy to find out that this fragrance is an exact dupe of Miss Dior Chérie. It's a dead ringer for Miss Dior Chérie. I had the 2011 version, I used up a bottle, and this, according to my memory, smells exactly like it. It opens citrusy, fruity, fresh. Then you get Cherie's signature heart of rose and jasmine. It's sweet, but it has that musky medicinal quality that only Cherie has. It's elegant, it's delicate, it's playful, but also sophisticated. The woody, earthy, musky patchouli base ensures that this stays a chypre despite the fruitiness in the opening. The vetiver, the sandalwood and the oak moss make it even woodier and drier. This is nowhere near as sweet as any of the subsequent versions of Miss Dior. It does smell very elegant, sophisticated, and if you told me this was Cherie, I would believe you. It's unbelievable how similar to the original this is. In terms of performance, the sillage is great. It lasts about 5 to 6 hours on me, which is great. So if you're looking for a decent dupe of Miss Dior Chérie, the 2011 version, you may want to check this one out. Next up, we've got number 728, which is Divain's version of Midnight Poison from Dior. And I'll be honest with you, when I first tried it, it was a very odd scent. It didn't smell anything like Midnight Poison. I left the sample sit for a few days and it has drastically improved. So I guess it was just shaken up from being transported all the way across the continent because they ship from Spain. So this scent has the same notes as Midnight Poison, and it does smell like Midnight Poison once the citrusy opening dissipates. I tried Midnight Poison a few years ago, and I also tried Yves Saint Laurent Elle and Perle de Lalique, which are both said to be similar to Midnight Poison, so I know what Midnight Poison should smell like. And it doesn't have a strong, fresh, citrusy opening. It has some citrusy notes, but it doesn't have a strong, fresh opening like this dupe. So the opening doesn't smell like Midnight Poison, because Midnight Poison to me is all about that dry rose and earthy patchouli with a hint of vanilla, and I've never considered it a sweet fragrance. This dupe does eventually reach that rose patchouli vanilla stage, and it does resemble Midnight Poison, but I still pick up some synthetic note that I don't really enjoy. But it is, like Midnight Poison, a very mysterious, deep scent that never really goes into the sweet territory. It stays dry and quite cool. The magic of Midnight Poison is that combination of citrus, rose and dry patchouli. It has some brightness, some freshness and spiciness in the opening, but it's predominantly a complex, rich, deep, ambery patchouli scent. So this dupe, I would say, is maybe a 60 to 75% dupe of Midnight Poison. The opening is completely off. It smells nothing like Midnight Poison. So unfortunately, this one is a no for me. Even though the performance is above average, it lasts about 6 to 7 hours on me. So will I keep it? I might. I'll keep playing around with it, and if I use up the sample, I'll keep the bottle. But I wasn't really impressed with this one, and I know Anna loves this one, but on my skin chemistry, this just doesn't work. I would rather just pick up a bottle of Perle de la Lique or Yves Saint Laurent Elle and have something that smells, well, like Midnight Poison, but not exactly like Midnight Poison. Those two fragrances are smell-alikes, not dupes, I would say, but they capture the same vibe, the same scent profile, at least in my opinion. So enough about Midnight Poison, and let's move on. The next Divain that I got is number 651, which is a dupe of Chanel Coromandel, a white chocolate, ambery, patchouli fragrance that is on my wish list because it's just exquisite. The original, not the dupe. This dupe is not the best. I'll be honest with you, the first time I tried it, it opened very alcoholic and very sour, which I didn't enjoy. The dry down was better, but to me, it just smelled like a watered down Shalimar, and I couldn't smell any Coromandel in there. And it smelled like a generic oriental fragrance. It was nowhere near as smooth, rich, refined as Coromandel. But I learned my lesson with the previous two dupes, so I let it sit for a few days, and it has improved quite a lot. The second time I wore it, I detected more patchouli and even hints of white chocolate. It was beautiful once it dried down, but the opening was still a bit harsh and a bit sour. And I know Coromandel is supposed to have a slightly musty smell to it, and it's also just a little bit sour, but the dupe is more synthetic smelling and just very sour, at least in the opening, and especially if you smell it up close. It does smell better in the air as opposed to on the skin, so if you decide to go for it, keep that in mind. I often find that dupes don't really smell good if you smell them up close, but they still somehow work if you smell them from afar. So this one will also be a no from me, unfortunately. I know that Anna loves this, but it won't be for me, unfortunately. Let's move on. We've got a new release. This is Burberry Goddess, and this is also a no from me, just because it's too sweet and too cloying on me. Even though it smells really nice and it reminds me of Montguerlain, and even though it's not a dupe of Montguerlain, it does remind me of Montguerlain. It's an aromatic vanilla gourmand. It's a lavender vanilla fragrance. You get 3 types of vanilla: vanilla infusion, vanilla caviar, and vanilla absolute, as well as some lavender and some other notes. This fragrance opens with a burst of aromatic lavender. Like Montguerlain, the lavender is quite strong. After about half an hour, the vanilla takes over. The vanilla is warm, creamy, very pleasant. I detect maybe a smidgen of ginger and cocoa, but this is by no means a spicy fragrance. It's simple, it's sweet, quite elegant and everyday appropriate, but also very cloying and very synthetic smelling. So I used to love Montguerlain. I used up a bottle. This has a similar vibe, but it doesn't smell exactly like Montguerlain in my opinion. The performance is excellent, but I have to say, this is the type of scent that just ends up going very cloying on me, and I couldn't wear it for more than 3 or 4 hours. So sadly, it's a no from me. The next fragrance that I sampled is Fire at Will from the house of Jovoy Paris. This is supposed to be a sweet, gourmand vanilla scent with some caramel. I did really enjoy the scent. It's nice, pleasant, but it smells very generic. It doesn't smell niche. Have I smelled something like this before? Yes. It smells like so many other vanilla perfumes on the market. I immediately recognized the scent. So for me, this is nothing special. If I wanted to buy a vanilla perfume, I would just go for Molinard Vanille or Montal Sweet Vanilla instead of shelling out 150 euros for a bottle of this. So it's a no from me, but my friend Leah really loves this one. And she also decided not to buy a full bottle and pick up a Dior dupe instead. So if you're looking for a good dupe, you might want to check Dior's dupe of Fire at Will. I don't know what it's called. I'll put it in the description if I find it. So last but not least, I tested this fragrance only because I received a free sample of it. And it's Dior Sauvage Elixir. And I don't mind the original Sauvage, but I really dislike this one. To me, it's just nauseating. I'm so sorry. It's spicy, it's ambery, and it's very heavy on the patchouli. And I only get dirty patchouli and synthetic ambroxan that just smells awful to me. It has a very pronounced Sauvage DNA, but the overdose of synthetic woods and ambery notes in the base is just not something that I enjoy. So I'm sorry to have to end this video on such a negative note, but please let me know if you enjoy any of these fragrances and pop your scent of the day in the comments if you wish to. As always, I read all of your comments and I always reply. I love chatting with you in the comments. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in one of my next videos. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.